Hey everybody, so it's been a long time since I've made a video on this channel, and so I wanted to just catch you up to speed with what I've been playing for the last while in various different iterations, but I find that this one is pretty close to what I think I'll probably bring to YCS Birmingham, depending on how things go. And you can see Hearts Cryptor there, which is Malice, so we're going to play Malice. So I want to first of all, let's go through the that's the non-engine stuff, so not go through that first. Let's go through the normal stuff, right? So first thing to bear in mind with Malice is they all have the effect to be banished and pay 300 to bring them back, and then they each have different ones. My personal favorite one so far is the Chessy Cat. Even though I only play 2 of it at the moment, I actually wouldn't mind considering going up to 3. Also because it's got the biggest attack as well, so 1500 is actually kind of relevant for stupid little decks that you might end up playing against. So Chessy Cat is a Pot of Greed, so you banish a Malice card and you can draw 2 cards, and then yeah, but it's activated. It's not activated on summon or anything else like that. So prime imperm fodder, prime Veiler fodder, all that sort of stuff, and also Ash Blossom as well. But I'll play 2 of that. Dormouse is the best one. There's a 1-card combo which I didn't realize because I hadn't read Malice and Underground properly. But there's a 1-card combo with this card that lets you get a really big board, so that's kind of cool. Basically, this one is the one that you probably want to summon first, like a normal summon, because you can banish any of the other ones, right? So you can get to all the other ones. So this one lets you get to at least another name, and potentially 2 names, depending on what your hand is like. And so basically all Malice monsters gain 600 attack. That's also relevant, just in case you forget. So that's like the Tearlament's Scream, is it? Where everything is like minus 500 or something. So that's just worth being aware of. Then my favorite one, but not definitely not the best one, unfortunately, is this is White Rabbit. So White Rabbit is the one that when banished you pay 300, bring it back, and summon like normal, like all the rest of them do. But basically what happens is when it's summoned, normal or special summoned, you can set a trap, which is quite good. So I think this is my favorite one because there's a lot of interruption things you can do with how the traps work as well. So the traps, in essence, what they do is you can use them on the turn they're set if you banish a Malice card, a Malice monster from the field. So and they have interesting effects sometimes if you have a Malice Link monster as well. So I'll go through that. So yeah, it's 3 White Rabbit, straightforward enough. I'm going to just go straight to the traps now, I think. So you've got 06. So 06 is my favorite one, purely because it summons from graveyard or banished. So usually this is the first one I try to set if I need to keep going or something. Or if I'm able to get to like a Link 3 Malice monster, this is the one I want to set first for the most part. As a way, as part of the combo, essentially. Because it lets you special summon a Malice monster that's banished from your graveyard, and then if you control a Link monster, you actually gain life points as well. So it gives you a win in time condition as well if you do it, because your combo can take kind of long. Then you got TB11. So TB11 is the special summon from deck 1, but also if your opponent controls 3 monsters, you can special summon from your extra deck. Which is cool. This one is okay. It's one you'd want for the next turn, not necessarily for the turn you have it. So obviously summoning from deck is great. But you're probably going evens, if not slightly neg, depending on how you do it. But it's a good backup one. It's like my preference is definitely for this one over this one, but I'll take this one if I can get it, you know. Yeah, and then the summoning a Link 3 monster, or summoning the Malice monster from your extra deck, if they control 3 monsters, is quite good as well. Although a lot of the time, if they know they've back row against Malice, because they don't play a lot of back row, they'll probably keep to 2 monsters, which means this will be kind of dead. So that can be annoying. Not super dead, but like the monsters, if you summon them from deck, they don't really do anything. They're just like bodies to beat over, but that's it. Like, so then MTP07 is actually probably one of my favorite ones, because if first of all it's the one that lets you add, so it means that it makes Chesty Cat live if you have 2 monsters and you have a Chesty Cat in the field. So you can make Chesty Cat live by adding a Malice monster that you've already used, for example, to draw 2 cards, or you can just use it on your opponent's turn, and if you control a link monster, you can banish 1 card, and it's non-target banish as well, which is great. So that's quite good. And it can kind of help you survive a bit against evenly matched as well. Evenly matched is pretty bad again, or pretty good against this deck. Pretty bad in general for your board, but something like this can help a lot because oh, what's my logic? That doesn't make any sense. What am I talking about? No, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry. Scratch all of what I just said there. That doesn't make any sense. The other thing that's bad about TB11 is the one that you summon, you can't use its effects that turn, which is kind of annoying as well. Yeah, so then I play 2 Allure of Darkness. I'm not playing Silent Mining. I'm not playing Dotscaper either, or Code of Soul, or any of those other ones, because I wanted to keep it simple, and I'll show you the other engine that I'm using at the moment. So Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish 1. Considering they all pay 300 to summon from banished, it's quite good. So yeah, I play two Allure of Darkness. Then I play Gold Sark, same thing, you banish a card directly. Even though this is at 1, I see this so often, it's actually insane. So that's quite good. Terraforming, I honestly think you could probably cut it, but sometimes it's very good to be able to get to the Malice and Underground without needing to make Raid Ransom, you know, so sometimes it's good to have this. And then Malice and Underground is the field spell, and basically what it does is it lets you banish from grave, hand, or deck. And I hadn't read the card before or properly, so I assumed it was only from deck. So eventually, when I actually read the card and realized I could banish from grave as well, it made my combos a lot better, you know. Although I still don't know the combos off by heart, I just sort of freestyle it a small bit, but you get the gist. You usually build something. Like I was trying it out on Omega a lot, and basically what was happening was I kept winning, so I don't know what to say. I'd win a lot, just because regardless of the board that you put up, you still have so much follow up, and I like drawing cards, so I like to go for the things that let you draw cards. So that's about it. So then we've just got the non-engine stuff. So I've got a Monster Reborn. This would be a Baldrake, but at the moment it's not. It's a Monster Reborn, which I think is fine because you end up in a situation where you constantly have monsters in the grave. Either your opponent has good monsters in their grave, or you have monsters in your grave that you want to summon back to the field so that you can get them back live again. You want to avoid using Splash Mage as much as possible, because that's like your last ditch effort really, because it locks you into Cybers, which is such a pain in the ass. But this lets you keep going basically. And then Talents is just the best board breaker in the game, I think. I mostly would use it to wipe out their hand or just kind of check for nib, you know, because oftentimes you could get hit with Lancia, and it's good to be able to check for either a nib or something else. Obviously, I mean, you're probably not getting to five monsters if you're under Lancia, but it is still possible sometimes. And then also taking the monster non-target is quite good as well. And then we got 3 Ash, which is just Stop Searching, which is good cards, just hand trap, you know. We got 3 Ghost Ogre. These will probably be replaced for Droll, potentially in the next format. But at the moment, I think these are very good against Ryziel. Because what I observe sometimes, especially if you go first, if you win the die roll and you go first, you can they can play through so much stuff. You can nib them and they can still keep going. But then at some point, they might realize that you've got more cards than them, especially if you go first, right? And they might just make Exciton Knight, and then when they go Exciton, you can Ghost Ogre that, which is pretty devastating for them for the most part, because it's just a bit more investment to make that Exciton knight rather than to make the duo drive and the detonator and the cross and all that stuff. Then 3 nib. I hate nib in general. I think it's a terrible card. I hate drawing it as my 6th card, but it's very good. So I don't know what to say. Like, I hate it, but it's very good, you know? And I think it's necessary evil in this instance, and you probably should main it. It's probably main worthy if you're going from a hand trap perspective. Just because it hits kind of everything. Although, like, Ryzeal can, you know, choose whether to what they want to do, you know, because they could just have a ton of hand traps. So it can be dead in those matchups. But oftentimes, I think, even if you like Ash, let's say the first Ryzeal card, even if it's not the best thing to Ash against Ryzeal, they sometimes, I think a lot of players take it as a challenge, and then they start doing stuff because it's like, fuck you, I'm going to show you what I can do through the hand traps that you have, right? And then you can pick your moments for this one, right? Which is kind of good. Although it really depends. And same thing with like these two together are a class, actually, right? Because they can prevent the thing that's that stops this one, you know, if you do it right. But yeah, that's the hand traps. Then we've got the other engine of the deck, which is Bystials. So, I got a Libellion, which is cool. Just the one Libellion. Regained as well. You know, we banish a ton of stuff, and sometimes you end up banishing a thing that you don't want to have. The one thing I would say about this card is you need to be very careful when you use it, because you want to have something banished for Heart Scriptor. So that's when I usually banish the traps for Mightbinder. I just banish something to have it out there, even if it's not necessarily the most useful, because I want to make sure I have targets for Heart Scriptor and for this as well, you know. Yeah, and it's just a very good card, and also, like, it keeps you alive through a lot of stuff. Like, you can literally just activate this sometimes. They normal summon, you bring out a Magnum, and you're just like good to go, maybe, you know. It depends. Same thing with the Baldrake. Baldrake puts a lot of pressure on people. I didn't realize how good this one was. I could only find 2 of them. That's why my Monster Reborn is the 3rd one, essentially. But basically, yeah, I'm playing 2 Baldrake, 3 Druisworm, because I could find 3 Druisworm, and 3 Saronir. Saronir's fine. It lets you get to Libellion in the grave, which is also kind of helpful. Or it can make your Regained a bit more live even as well. And just because I'm playing Lure Darkness, which I think I could probably get away with 3 Lure, but I want to keep it at 40 cards. With the 3 Lure Darkness, I think this is quite good as well. And basically, yeah, and Magnum. The thing is that I want to make sure that I have different names as much as possible. So even in siding out, I'm going to side out. I'll side out like 2 Saronir, 1 Baldrake, 1 Druisworm, or whatever, right? Depending on what I'm playing against. If it's like, okay, let's say the Bystials aren't the most effective in the world, I'll try and narrow it down to how many Bystials am I actually playing? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm playing 9. I'd probably narrow it down to like 5 sometimes, depending on how much I side out. But yeah, that's the main deck at the moment. It's good because, like, I try to draw a lot of cards, especially if I'm going first. If I'm trying to draw a lot of cards, having different Bystials that I can keep summoning the whole time is quite good. Like, I know people play a lot of just the Magnum and like the 3 Druisworm or whatever it is, or they don't play the Saronirs. But I think having a diversified type of Bystial in your hand keeps you alive a lot longer, because what can happen as well, because especially opponents, I don't think realize that you're playing all the different types, and they need to play around the fact that you probably do have Bystials, even if you've Bystialed a lot on your turn as well, you know. So I think that's quite a useful way of looking at it. So then let's go into extra deck next, right? So Heart Scriptor, we just play one of each of them, right? So we play Heart Scriptor, Whitebinder, and Red Ransom. So Heart Scriptor is my favorite. The one thing that's really annoying about it, though, is you need 3 monsters for it. So keep that in mind and don't forget about that, and make sure also to call your opponent out on it, because if they're morons like me, They might not have read the card properly, and they might just assume that they're like the other two, you know. So yeah, this needs 3 monsters, which is why link decoder is also so important. But basically, it lets you return a card or return a Malice card from banish to banish a card. Okay, and so usually on the first time you do it, you'll banish it. Pay 900, bring it. So that's the difference, actually. Just one thing to mention. So that's the difference between the Malice link monsters and the main deck monsters. Main deck are 300. Link monsters are 900 to pay. Okay. Yeah, so this becomes double attack, okay? And this plus the field spell on its own means that they can't attack anything else. Well, obviously they can't attack anything else if it's the only fucking monster on the field, sorry. But if you have like another monster on the field and they go to battle phase, they have to kind of stop their battle phase. You're not forced to attack, but they have to attack the Malice link, like, you know, which is okay. And it can kind of snake you some wins in that instance as well, you know, because they don't realize it's not like they're forced to attack it though. So I want to emphasize that. So then White Binder is like your oh my god, what's that card called? It's the one that banishes 3 cards, right? You can banish up to 3 cards, target when it's summoned. Also, that effect is fine. It's very useful for like, haha, I'm going to combo on your turn and summon all these monsters, blah, 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 whatever. But the actual important thing for this one is the fact that you can set traps from grave, which is super useful. Which is why I tend to go for GWC 06 first, and then try and set that one again, because that one is super useful for bringing back stuff from banished as well. I know a lot of people would tend to try and banish some of the Malice traps so that they may get the offshoot effect of Malice and Underground, but I want to try and keep it to a minimum. So I do try to think about, okay, I want to have at least something for Heart Scriptor, but I don't want it to be the thing that I might want to set off of White Binder as well. So yeah, we have to keep it pretty reasonable. The other thing it does is when it's banished and summoned back by pay 900, you draw a card as well. So that's another draw you can get off this. So then this is usually the one people make first a lot of the time, which I agree with for the most part. So this lets you add a mana spell. And then if it's banished and summoned back, pay 900, you can banish a card. Banish a Cyberse, banish a card. Banish a Cyberse, yeah. Usually people banish Dotscaper. I'm not playing Dotscaper like I mentioned. So I'll usually just banish something else. So that's something you can consider in terms of if you've got your Heart Scriptor, because odds are by the time you get to this one, you've probably used all the names. This might be the one that gets you to the 3rd name so that you can keep going, but odds are you've probably used all the names by the time you get to this one. Then I'm playing the Typhon. This is literally just the backup of backup strategies if you've been stopped at every single turn from playing the game. Because the other thing is the Malice monsters, they lock you into link summons from the extra deck. But if you don't get that far, which is kind of likely sometimes with the Lanciers that are going around and the Imperm Vader, Ash, all that stuff, if you get hand trapped to absolute death on trying to set up, and they've got a detonator, making this is not a bad choice because you can out the detonator. Or if you hand trap them to death and they still end up making a few monsters, this outs detonator, like, because they can't activate its effect because it's 3000. Then you got Zealantis. Same thing. Zealantis is quite cool because it actually specifically mentions banishing the cards. And also it can be made with 1 link 4, which is quite cool. It didn't come up just yet, but I like it in theory. So I like that. This one's quite good. It gives you a sort of floodgate-esque aspect to this deck. So it gives you something else to do on your first turn if you don't get hand trapped too much, where you can end with this in the middle zone and Heart Scriptor and pointing at Heart Scriptor. So you've got your opponent can't activate special summon monster effects, and also you've got a non-targeting banish as well. That's 5k, which can be quite good. And it also lets you draw cards. So yeah. Access Code Talker, super cool. 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 4, so that's quite good, and it's a Cyberse. And also, you can banish the Malice cards to pop cards and then pay 900 to summon them back, which is quite cool. So this 5,300 plus 2,300 isn't fully game, but you can get there pretty easily. You can get pretty close to it. Afterwards, Firewall Dragon's just a cool boy. He's just a cool boy. He bounces stuff up to the number of co-link things that he has, which is quite good. So this one is quite useful because Bystials are kind of running rampant at the moment. So Dark is quite good at this moment in time. Now, you still need to bear in mind that it's not a Cyberse, it's all this blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter, but like Bystials are running rampant, so sometimes you can take your opponent's Magnamut as well, and then you get the Magnamut effect, and then you just do like normal link plays that get you up to the Cyberse Bystial, whatever it is, like, or sometimes even in the mirror match, like this is good because you just take their monster from the grave, rather than banishing it. And then you can make your link trees, which is cool. SP is part of the combo. I've never done that combo in my life. I think I don't know, it feels just, it feels disrespectful of Nib being a thing, right? Where you summon this using link monsters and then banish Red Ransom or something else in grave using its own effect on the first turn, which is good. Like, you miss out on the other part. But it feels really wasteful to use an SP as part of a link combo, so it's in grave by that stage. It's not being its usual dodgy self, IP honestly could be something else, but it's just good. Like, it lets you do more stuff on your opponent's turn, which is always good. So making this into this is obviously a great play to have, especially under Lancia, things like that. And also, because we've already talked about this one, this will let you bring your Malice cards back online as well. So Link Decoder, great card. If 2,300 or more Cyberse monster is summoned using this, it can summon itself back, which is great. Especially because Heart's Cryptor requires 3 monsters, as I mentioned. This is just cool as well because it's like basically it's just a link 1. So with the Bystials, you can just, if you've been hand trapped to death and you can't use the effects of your monsters, make a link 1, Bystial them, bring them back. You still can't use the effect because you've already been impermed or whatever. But now you have 2 bodies, so you can keep going. Which is cool. Then the Last Resort card, I'm sure everyone's seen this card a million times in like every Salad deck ever, every Marincess deck ever. I can't even think what other decks would it be. Every Math Mech deck ever, right? It's just this card should be banned. I think this is the word. I think this is actually a broken card, really, when you think about it. I used to, when the Math Mech was like really popular and this and the thing, I used to think this was the thing that needs to be banned because it caused so much trouble. Like Transcode is great, is pretty rough, but this is like really, really strong. Summons in defense, so you can't summon Link Monster with this, obviously. Lizardos, it's a cool guy. I was playing the Kashtira-ish variant of this one, and he also has another effect as well. That lets you draw a card and clear your board, which is quite cool. So basically, just to make sure I've read this right. You can banish one card or one monster from your face-up field, then target one face-up monster on the field. So you can kind of clear your board-ish, not fully. And then if you banish itself, you can draw cards, which is cool. Then we've got Lingrebo, just a link 1, stops evenly, stops imperm, I don't know. It's just a nice link 1 to have. So you've this and Link Decoder, and I had Link Decoder for the first week I was playing this deck. It was really tough. Then we've got Link Spider. So Link Spider is just because you're going to get nabbed at some point and you need a Cyberse to keep going, That's all. That's the only reason that it's here, as far as I can tell. I'm sure I don't even know what else can you play it in. Yeah, you could play with the Hornet drones if you're still on the Sky Striker stuff. So it's not the worst in the world, to get a free Link monster. Yeah, but it's cool. That's it. It just lets you keep going. So that's the extra deck. Then we're going to look at the side deck. So this card, Bane of Malice's existence. Very, very annoying card. Everyone is siding it. Everyone and their mother is siding it. Because it's really good. But I sided as well, mainly for the mirror. But actually, surprisingly, this deck has a very hard time against Voiceless Voice because it just negates, like it puts them on like really, like it puts them in a really bad position. There's not, it doesn't have much gas if you interrupt it in the right way. So this will stop Saphira Effect Engrave. It's also quite good against Crystron. Someone told me that, so I'll just keep it just in case I have to play against Crystron. So and yeah, mainly in the mirror match as well, which is good. Then I like Phantasme. I like this a lot because obviously what I've definitely realized is Fiendsmith Ryziel is the best deck by like a country mile. And Fiendsmiths make link monsters. And also people are, well, I don't know if it's dumb or smart. It depends, right? It depends on your outlook. But like doing this when they summon Requiem and then they tribute Requiem means I get to just draw a card. I don't have to put back any cards. But obviously the other way around is I get to draw 2 cards and then I then have to put back one. So I get to dig deeper in my deck. But at the very least, you're making them rush through things a bit more, as well. And when people are rushing, what are they doing? They're probably making mistakes at some point in time, and then also just get the free draws quite good. Also, this is very good with Baldrake. This plus a Baldrake is like crazy because it gives you a free tribute if they summon a link monster, So if you can interrupt them twice, it's very, very good. And yeah, like surprisingly, a lot of the decks will link summon, so this is quite useful. This would be genuinely. I know you could make the case for Fuelos, right? But this deck has a bigger problem against Ryziel. The mirror match is pretty toxic, I think, but in general, I think I'd have a better standing against the mirror match. All things going second, I guess, I think it would be okay, than I would against Ryziel. So my other option for this would actually be Pirellia, because what I notice, especially with the amount of hand trapping sometimes that I do, is they summon so much from hand. Like, it's insane how much they summon from hand. Like, obviously they summon a lot from the extra deck as well, but they have to summon at least one more monster than they would summon from the extra deck in order to make any plays viable, In order to make a rank 4, they have to summon 2 monsters. So sometimes one of them is from deck, which is whatever, okay, fair enough, blah, blah, blah. But like a lot of the times 2 of them are from hand. Because even if I have like Pirellia plus an Imperm or something, I don't play Imperm, but like whatever, or I don't know which Ryziel, but the one that summons from deck when it's summoned, like if you can Ash that or whatever, and then they have to go like X Ryziel send special from hand, which that's 2 draws, and then obviously they make the rank 4 and they'll probably call it a day there. Depends, it really depends. But I think Pirellia is quite good against Ryziel, Fiendsmith Ryziel. Mostly Ryziel, but like, I mean, I think it has a place in it. Obviously, Fulos is the best one. I don't have Fulos. But I do think genuinely that Pirellia is a good option as well instead of these guys. But I don't know. I think these guys go well with the Baldrake, and it's nice to have Link fodder as well. So I kind of mess with that. Then my kind of board breaky vibes is just I'm playing 3 mind control. This gets less good with the Eclipse Twins because of stupid because of Eclipse Twins with the detonator. Because it'll pop itself and summon it back and all that stuff, and it targets, which is quite annoying as well. So potentially, what another change that I would make is Potentially sacrifice the Nightmare Griffin in the extra deck and put in my own detonator. And then these would be Metal Tronus. Because that way I could banish it face down and it can't respond. So that would be my alternative. Because these are mainly more for like thrust targets. I'm not playing thrust at the moment. I have no reservations against playing thrust. I think it's a really good card, honestly. But I'm kind of trying out a hand trap version at the moment, so that's the reason why. But I think these will be maybe Metal Tronus going forward. I still just like them. I just think I love 1-for-1 trades of like, give me that monster, you know, and then they have to do something immediately. There's nothing like you don't need to wait for them to like, oh, they've activated hand traps, tactics, whatever. Like, I like this kind of just give me that. You know. Either that or I'd maybe go back to Enemy Controller, which I always love because it's my favorite card in the world. But it's yeah, I think Metal Throne is probably the option. But Mind Control is quite good. So you can take it, you can't attack with it though. So has to be link fodder as well. Just Feather Duster mostly because like with locals you end up playing against like back row decks and stuff. So might as well keep in a Feather Duster as an option. Change of Heart. So once again, give me that. I want that card. Give me that monster you have. I like it. I like the look of it. Give me it. I'm going to use it for link summoning. So, and also this is a Metal Raiders Ultra, not first ed, but like looks really nice. So, yeah. Call by. I don't mean it. This is only genuinely. I actually put this in going second a lot. For weird reasons. Because a lot of times people have stuff waiting to be activated in Grave, which is super annoying. Like Lacrima in Grave is super annoying, so Call by on Lacrima is quite good. Targeting the stuff that they're going to target with Bystials instead of using my own Bystials because I want to use my Bystials for that stuff. I can't think of what else. I guess this is also helpful again. Like this plus any of the give me that thing would be quite good as well because you can just call by the Eclipse Twins, you know. Well, it's surprisingly good going second at the moment. So I do recommend it, but I don't like maining it because no one is really maining Lancia, and that's I guess the primary function for this, and it's sometimes super dead depending on what you're playing against because people are on maybe more board breakery versions or just on imperms or whatever, or like nibs and imperms, you know, in which case this is super dead. So it depends. And then you gotta have it somewhere, I think, in this deck because things like to be banished. So this can be an auto win card against certain matchups depending on what you're playing. Memento, I feel like, is really underrated in general because of how crazy resilient it is. And I don't want to read all those cards personally, to be perfectly frank. So instead of having to read the Memento cards, I'm just gonna draw a Shifter and hope for the best. Like because. Like I just they make this big guy and he shuffles back five of the stupid mementos and then he's gigantic and then oh my god, it's just crazy and then he pop all my fields. Memento is a really hard matchup actually against Malice, so you just gotta draw this and pray, honestly. Yeah. So yeah, Shifter's really good and it's a dark, so you can manage it with a Bystial as well, which is cool. And reset your Grave and then just shift it up again if you draw the second one. That is the deck profile. And this is a generic deck profile just in terms of it's not really related to a tournament or anything else like that, but I'm quite happy with the build and happy with how it works, which is very straightforward, honestly. Like I can go through, I'm not going to go through combos because it's just like a freestyle deck, right? But like the stuff that I would do in general, and obviously you can decide whether it's bad or good. Always starts with Dormouse. I go Dormouse effect, banish, blah blah blah. I don't have any cards, so White Rabbit pay 300 effect set. So then we're going to set blah blah blah. We're going to set 06. So now we've Dormouse has not been used yet. Normal stuff. You make you link off. You make Haggard effect. Banish Dormouse. Dormouse pay 300. Link 3. So then you go for Red Ransom because I ain't got nothing else. Yeah. So at this stage, then you've your field spell. So then you've your field spell. Where's it gone? There. So depending on if you have more follow up and you can link this away normally, then you do that. But if not, you can go GW6 or GWC06, link it up or banish it. Banish that, summon back Dormouse, doesn't really matter. Summon this back by paying 900, effect, then you get to the third one, you know. Then you get to Chessy Cat, which is cool. So, and then, yeah, Chessy Cat, effect, special. What else do I do here? So now is where you'd link this off into decoder. And then what you want to do potentially is link 3 into white binder effect. So at this stage you need to be very careful what you banish, but I'd probably banish no, Malice Underground's not banished. Malice Underground's there. So I'd banish a Dormouse and Chessy Cats. All of them are already used, so I'm already down on life points a fair bit. So I'd probably banish Chessy Cat, White Rabbit, and Red Ransom at this point in time. The reason being, this is assuming that they've already probably used a lot of their traps, right? So the reason at this point in time would be because what I want to next do is I want to go effect White Binder, set GWC06. This is presuming that this is that's the only playable card that you have is Dormouse. So then you can what the hell am I going to do now? Oh, where's my link decoder? Yeah, give me that. So link decoder, sorry. Now I can link 3 or link 2 Splash Mage, which is not great, sadly, at the moment, because the only link 3 I have left is Heart's Cryptor, which needs 3 monsters. So you better hope you have a Bystial at this point in time. Splash Mage, bring back the Chessy Cat. Now you've got the trap, which is the best trap at the moment. You've got the ability to summon back White Binder, or the ability to summon back Heart's Cryptor, depending on what you want to do. I probably shouldn't have actually banished Heart's Cryptor, so maybe don't do that. Because then you can summon back GW606 and then gain 2300 life points on your bonus turn, which will let you summon back White Binder or Red Ransom. But at this point, you better hope if you've some other follow-up, you make the 3 monsters into Heart's Cryptor, and then from there you can keep going. But you'll end up with a decent board if you have any level of follow-up besides just Dormouse. I'm sure there's many more fancy things you can do. But like I said, I kind of just freestyle it and hope for the best. And yeah, it usually works out. So, I mean, just do that. It doesn't matter. Like, like the game is the game. It's just a game. So yeah, just play the game like that. I'm after putting all the cards together, even the ones from the side deck. I'm an idiot. Okay, that's about it. Thanks very much for watching. Yu-Gi-Oh!